Well, welcome everyone to our cat photography and social media session. Caitlin, can you please make Salem a host? That would be great. But we're so excited to welcome you here and talk all things photos and videos and social media about our cute and fluffy little meow meows. So we have some really incredible panelists here today that have taken their cat content to the next level. I'm talking super hilarious and adorable reels and TikToks, great pictures of their fur babies. So everyone, if you could just introduce yourselves, talk about what your creative journey is, why you decided to start taking pictures and videos of your cat and posting on social media, and maybe what your creative background is too, because I know a lot of you do this professionally. So Joe, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name is Joe with Leo. He just ran away, but by trade, I was a professional photographer and videographer. I did commercial directing, and I just used my skills with Leo when I first found him. I started traveling with Leo as a necessity. I brought him to work with me. I brought him to the gym with me. I brought him to all my work meetings. Like I brought him into like conference rooms, and all my clients will be all over him. So it kind of just like made sense that I would eventually start taking photos of him. Like he's a cute cat. Then how I started his Instagram is just I got tired of scrolling through my photo album to show how cute my cat is to my friends. So I made an Instagram, and that's how it kind of all played out. Now we do cat commercials, we do calendars, we do magazines.
That's amazing. Yeah, I was like, I'm posting too many photos of my cat on my personal Instagram, so he just needs his own account at this point.
Yeah.
Holly, what about you? I know that you had a plant Instagram account, right? Before you transitioned to making cat content. Okay,
Yeah. So I was actually kind of like a.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I did have a plant account before I had my cat account, and I was a huge plant collector, and I was involved in the plant community locally. But then I got my cat, and then I didn't want to flood, my plant account or my personal account with cat photos, so I got a separate cat account. But then once we started traveling, I sold all my plants so that we could focus more on my cat account. It really sucks. I had those plans for like 2 or 3 years. Like I started during COVID. And then, so my social media background is that I actually work in marketing. I did spend 10 years doing social media, but for my cat's account, I wanted a more personal approach. So it's not like professional at all. It's just me hanging out with my cat and traveling.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Salem, I see you're finally in our group. Can you turn your video on? Do you have connectivity? Maybe not yet. So Kat, do you want to contribute since I know your video is certainly working and you have your fur baby here?
Yeah, so I'm Kat. This is and they're both actually joining us. This was not planned. I'm so excited. This is Uno and my new cat Dose. We got into social media because I just would kind of randomly record Uno because he was such a unique cat. I'm from Minnesota and I'd never seen someone bring their cat on a walk. And I just thought it was funny. So I'd make Snapchats and my friends would kind of make fun of me, but they were funny videos. I also have like improv comedy training. So I just thought, making videos with him was really fun and just kind of a good way to I grew up liking to play pretend and I had an excuse to do it as an adult. I worked as a journalist for a really long time, so I did have the skills and I moved to California to work in entertainment and I made Uno his own social media when I moved because it was actually for my friends because it was kind of annoying to text people photo updates and everything. And I'm like, oh, this is like easier. And then it turned out like not only my friends wanted to see videos of him, the whole world did. And it's just turned into this very special thing. And it's been very fun showing our journey and just how I can take him on walks, take him to meet people, take him to meet dogs, and encouraging other people to do similar. And we're just really happy to be able to live our lives and share our story and encourage people to be the best cat owners they can be.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So thanks everyone for sharing your Instagram handles in the chat. Definitely follow our panelists here. They are amazing cat influencers with tens, if not hundreds of thousands of followers and really hilarious content. So I was saying earlier, if you guys heard me, because I thought this was, we weren't live yet, but I was binge watching all of our panelists' amazing reels on Instagram of their super adorable and hilarious cat content. And I was so impressed by how many views and how many likes this content was generating. So everyone, I'd love to hear your tips of what makes a good cat content on social media. What really resonates with your followers, and what do they like to see from your cats? Joe, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. What I try to do with every video that I post is that I try to make a cohesive story. If it's not like a very specific tip, it's just a story between us. What I try to do with our Instagram is just share our relationship with each other. Like me and him have a very special bond, and I think that's where people relate to. Just like having a relationship with your cat is very like amazing to see, because most of the time there's a misconception of cats are like they're mean, they bully people, they'll scratch you, whatever. But like it's just nice to see like a very wholesome relationship between man and cat. So I try to bring in a story every video post I do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Holly, your cat account is relatively new, but you've had several of your reels go mega viral. Can you share kind of your secret sauce of how you made that happen?
So I do use like trending sounds from both Instagram and TikTok. So for like TikTok, it's more like aesthetic videos technically, and then TikTok is more like speaking about your daily everyday. But I started posting like, I guess kind of like daily vlogs on Instagram, and those do well as well, not just like aesthetic photos or videos. So like just keep posting, like post consistently, like once a day, see what content like really works. So it's really trial and error. But you never know until you post. So keep posting, even if it's not as high quality as you want it to be.
Pat, what about you? What is one of your recipes for success and getting good engagement on Instagram or TikTok or any other social media platform?
So I'll be really frank that I just kind of make one video and I post it everywhere and I just kind of see how it does. I think to me, it's really important to tell the truth of the story, and everyone's cat is going to have a different story. And I think it's like it's very easy to pretend to be something you're not. But if you can find a way to portray your cat for who they truly are, if they're a scaredy cat, tell that story. If your cat's really brave and likes to go on walks, tell that story. Uno loves to go on walks, that's great. Dose, my other cat, is terrified to go outside, so I do show the progress and I show that he prefers the backpack and that it's okay that he's a scaredy cat. I was so sad, and I realized, I was like, you want him to be something he's not. Why don't you show him for what he really is? And I think, not only just from a moral standpoint is that really important, but it just makes other people feel more okay if their cat's in that position too, where maybe they're not as brave. Because it's just like, you don't want people pushing their cats like too hard. So like what I'm trying to say is, like, if you're going to do social media with your cats, make sure you're portraying them honestly for who they are, and don't force them to do things that they're not comfortable with. But I always encourage trying new things, and once you can figure out how to tell their story authentically, I think the views, the likes, the follows will come with it. So just like, don't do what everyone else is doing, though it is a great way to like experiment, but like do what actually makes you happy and works with your cat.
I love that so much. And I know something that internally we've discussed prior to this panel is the importance of not just waiting for your cat to be striking the perfect pose and not trying to script everything. I don't know about everyone watching, but it's very hard for me to get my cat to do exactly what I want him to do in the exact moment I want it. But so some of our panelists were saying how important it is to really just capture your cat's natural behavior and not wait for that perfect moment. I'd love for you guys to expand on that. Joe, do you want to say something?
No, like I completely agree. So me and Leah, we shoot for a lot of different brands. We do a lot of commercials together. Specifically calendars. We take a lot of bad photos and we use those bad photos. And that's what it is. That's how he is naturally, and that's what makes it fun. Like, yeah, don't push your cat to do whatever they don't want to do. There's a lot of times where I had to cancel shoots, I had to cancel meet and greets, I had to cancel a bunch of things because Leo wasn't feeling it. And I have to respect that. We have to respect their boundaries too.
Listening to your cat is so important, whether they feel comfortable on their leash and harness outside or whether they feel like being an Instagram model that day. Kat, what about you? What are some of your experiences with that of capturing your cat in kind of their natural state?
I do struggle a lot with I do as someone who worked as a journalist, and it was drilled into me to get the best shots and everything. But so taking a step back from that and just posting my cat as he is and just being like the shot I got is good enough. And just like as someone who I left my full-time job to do Uno full-time and some of my other social media it's not the best shot, it's getting the shot and just telling the story honestly. And I'm just trying to make enough money to get by, and I make enough just getting the shots I do and not trying too hard. So it is possible to grow an audience and do what you want to do without sacrificing a beautiful relationship with your animal. And if you're gonna not to be I'm so sorry, not to be this person, but on a holistic, we want to make sure we're not pushing our animals or ourselves to be something we're not, because that's going to force other people in the space to do the same thing. And that's a dangerous game. And there's a lot of industries where that is a problem. And I think especially if we want to have like a healthy cat community, it's just like post the bad photo, post the photos that like make you happy, but don't be afraid to experiment with the way you're shooting to get shots that you're more happy with too. You don't have to like just settle, but don't like push you or your cat to a point where it's like you don't enjoy the thing.
Thank you so much. I want to touch upon the idea of bad photos because while in the sense that there's no such thing as an uncute cat, so of course every cat photo is cute, the number of times I've had people say, oh, look at this photo of my cat, and it's like some blurry blob of color on the ground, and I'm like, this is the worst photo I've ever seen in my life. So what are your tips of taking, even if you just have a regular cell phone, if you don't have a nice camera, what are your tips on how to photograph your cats well, especially for our friends with black cats, because I know that can have a whole other level of challenges. So what are your photography tips, guys? Anyone can go.
I'll go as so I have a black cat, and it's tricky to photograph him. So like where I live really matters to me, and the lighting in my home really matters. So I try to set up my life that it's like if I'm going to take photos of him, it's going to be during the day because it's bright. And once it gets too dark out, I try to have like enough lamps and stuff in my home so I don't have to hit him with a light. I just turn a light on. I shoot everything with my phone. I have the iPhone 13. So I just think like the general tip is good lighting is actually really all you need, aesthetics and everything aside. If it like shooting during the daytime, having plenty of lamps so you can just click it on and get that photo of your animal. And then also just making sure before you take photos or videos, just wipe down your lenses. And that can make a huge difference because a lot of times people don't realize that their lenses are dirty, and like a quick wipe can just like make such a big difference. So the biggest tip is just like try to keep, if you want to photograph your cats well, make sure it's bright and it's going to look a billion times better. And I say this as someone with a black cat, but I kind of got to cheat because he has one ear, so he always kind of stands out a little bit.
Awesome, thank you. Joe and Holly, do you have anything to contribute?
Yeah, I also agree with that. Lighting is very important. like for me as a photographer, I really care about like getting the perfect photo. I know I'm not gonna get it every single time, but I make the active choice that I have DSLRs, I have cinema cameras, I could use all these professional equipment, but I honestly just use a phone with Leo's Instagram. It gets you so far, and perfect light or good lighting and good timing. I have about thousands of photos of Leo, thousands of videos of Leo. I'm sure everyone does of their cats, and one of them's got to be good.
So let's answer a few questions that have been dropped into the Q&A, guys. We're running out of time. So Emerson wants to know, Holly was mentioning that she used trending sounds on Instagram to have her reels go viral. So guys, how do you choose the best audio sounds for Instagram or TikTok to make your cat videos for? What's your strategy in finding sounds for that?
For me personally, I kind of just scroll onto my For You page. At least I watch the first 5 videos, and I hear a duplicate sound, I use that sound. And whatever videos I have currently on my photo album, I'll just use that. I use the template and just like, yeah, this is really funny. And I personally, I like it. So I'm gonna post it.
Awesome. Holly, what about you? Are we here, Holly?
I think she's typing in.
Okay, Kat, do you have anything to contribute? How do you find sounds for your reels?
So usually it sounds that make
I was
me
like
laugh.
I was trying to like type it up. Yeah.
Okay, Holly's back. Go, Holly.
Yeah, I was just trying to type up in the chat, but I watch a lot of reels and TikToks, and whatever is repeating, then I'll use that for my cat.
Okay, awesome. Kat?
So I don't do a lot of sounds, but when I do, it's either ones that like make me laugh really hard or just are very specific to a moment. There was this viral sound where and this cat that I was featuring was getting misgendered, and it was actually a male cat, and the sound like fit really perfectly. With that, I actually can't repeat the sound because it does have like a naughty word in it, but it was funny. But I also go to other cat creators pages and see sounds that worked for them. Obviously you don't copy their idea, but it's just like I usually go directly to other cat accounts and I'm like, what's been working for other people? Because it makes it like a little bit easier. So I'm not going from square one. It's really okay to like look to other people for inspiration. And I've had a lot of, I don't use sounds a lot, but the success I've had with sound is I've seen another cat creator use a certain sound and I'm like, oh, that really worked for them. Let me try thinking of my own thing and then like inserting it into my life.
Awesome. So another question in the Q&A is, how do you figure out what to caption your posts? What kind of thought process do you go into the writing element of sharing on social media compared to just the visual creation? Joe, I see you laughing. So do you want to go first?
It's whatever I'm thinking at the time. I tell myself I don't want to think about a caption for more than 2 minutes. It's whatever I think is funny at the time. So I make an inside joke to myself or whatever the video is. It's just make it fun, make it a joke. Don't make it too long, unless it's an educational post, and then I'll go into like depths about it. But it's just whatever I'm feeling. I try not to go too crazy about captions. They're usually like one-liners or two-liners or whatever I'm thinking about at the time.
Awesome. Okay, so we have time for just one more question, but please follow all of our panelists on social media on their different accounts. Panelists, if you want to drop your different social media accounts in the chat so our friends here can follow you. And if you guys have follow-up questions, I'm sure they would love to hear from you and love to connect on social media. But final question for now, and then we're going to announce the prize winner. Do you prefer to edit inside the app or use outside apps to edit your videos that you're sharing on social media?
I prefer, just because I came from a professional background, Premiere Pro, which they do have a monthly subscription, and if you're a student, it's very reasonably priced, and it's also just a great skill. There's a lot of little tools in it that make it really worthwhile, but it's better to do the thing than to not do it at all. So if you're not in a place where you want to invest in that, CapCut is free and a partner with TikTok, so they have a lot of really great templates and stuff. So if you're like, I want to edit, but I don't know where to start, I really recommend CapCut because They've been around for so many years. The tool, it's a great editing thing. It's very simple and they have a partnership. But if you're someone that's been doing it for a minute and you just really want your stuff to shine and you want to get a skill, I would recommend like Premiere Pro. It's kind of industry standard.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Kat. Holly and Joe, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I also agree. I also come from a professional background. I use Final Cut and DaVinci Pro, but I tend to I sometimes use the TikTok and Instagram templates quite often. And I mean, if that's what you know, that's what you know. You don't have to learn a crazy skill just for editing. There's a lot of great resources to do that.
Awesome. So email Steph at your cat backpack. Someone will drop her email in the chat to claim your prize. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. I know there were so many questions we did not get the chance to answer, but please connect with our panelists on social media. And I'm sure they would love to help advise, and follow everyone because their cat content is super hilarious and cute. So thanks everyone for joining, and see you in the next session.